Myself I am Yoganandam. I have been working as a biology lecturer. In today's class, we are going to discuss about one of the important topic from 12th standard biology, that is principles of inheritance and variation. Before going to the topic, those who are watching our YouTube channel, you are requested to like, subscribe and share to your friends. At the same time, you are requested to comment also. Before going to the topic, so you try to remember some important terms which are given from this topic. First, you must know what is genetics. Genetics deals with the inheritance as well as the variation of characters from parents to offsprings. Inheritance is the process by which characters are passed on from parent to progeny. It is the basis of heredity. Variation, what do you know about variation? Variation is the degree by which progeny differ from their parents. It is called as variation. Try to remember. Genetics, study of inheritance, heredity and variation of characters, or study of genes and chromosomes. Inheritance is transmission of characters from parents to progeny. It is the basis of heredity. Then what is variation? Differences between parents and offspring. Then what do you know about characters? A heritable future among the parents and offspring. Example, eye color. Then what do you know about trait? Trait is variants of a character. Example, brown eye, blue eye. Then what do you know about alleles or allelomorphs? Alleles are alternative forms of a gene. For example, capital T represent tall, small t represent dwarf, or two alleles of a gene for the character of height. Then what do you know about homozygous and heterozygous? Homozygous is the condition which chromosome pair carries a similar alleles of a gene, also known as pure line. It is always called as a true breeding. Capital T, small t, capital Y, small y, etc. It is similar alleles. Heterozygous means the condition in which the chromosome pair carries dissimilar alleles of a gene. It is capital T, capital Y, small y, etc. So you try to understand what is homozygous, what is heterozygous. Then what do you know about the dominant character and recessive character? The character which is expressed in heterozygous condition, it indicates with capital letter, is called as dominant character. The character which is suppressed in heterozygous condition, it indicates with a smaller letter. Then phenotypic and genotypic. Phenotypic is a physical expression of a character, that is a morphological character. Genotype is a genetic constituent of a character. Hybrid is an individual produced by mating of genetically unlike parents. You know, humans knew from early as 8000 to 1000 BC that one of the cases of variation was hidden in sexual reproduction. They exploited the variations that were naturally present in the wild population of plants and animals to selectively breed and select for organisms that possessed desirable characters. For example, through artificial selection and domestication for ancestral wild cows, we have well-known Indian breeds, example Sahiwal cows in Punjab. We must, however, recognize that though our ancestors knew about the inheritance of characters and variation, they had very little idea about the scientific basis of these phenomena. Let's discuss about Mendel's laws of inheritance. It was during mid-19th century that headway was made in the understanding of inheritance. Gregor Mendel conducted hybridization experiments on garden pea plant, that is Pisum sativum is the botanical name of pea plant. So almost he has conducted 7 years his experiment from 1856 to 1863 and proposed the laws of inheritance in living organisms. During Mendel's investigations into inheritance pattern, it was for the first time that statistical analysis and mathematical logic were applied to problems in biology. His experiments had a large sampling size which gave greater credibility to the data that he collected. Mendel investigated characters in the garden pea plant that were manifested as two opposing traits. Example, tall and dwarf plant, yellow and green seeds. So refer the diagrammatic representation. Mendel conducted such artificial pollination, cross-pollination experiments using several true breeding pea lines True breeding lines is one that, having undergone continuous self-pollination, shows the stable trait, inheritance, and expression for several generations. Mendel selected there are 14 true breeding pea plant varieties, that is, except for one character with contrasting traits. Some of the contrasting traits selected were smooth or wrinkled seeds, yellow seeds, smooth or inflated pods, green or yellow pods, and tall or dwarf plants. So that everything is given in the tabular column. Out of the 7 pairs of contrasting characters, he has taken it in account for his experiment. Then let us discuss about the inheritance of one gene. Let us take the example of one such hybridization experiment carried out by Mendel, where he crossed tall and dwarf pea plant to study the inheritance of one gene. Refer the diagrammatic representation. He collected the seeds produced as a result of this cross and grew them into generate plants of first hybrid generation. This generation is also called as first filial generation or first filial progeny or F1. Mendel observed that all the F1 progeny plants were tall like one of its parent. None were dwarf. Refer the diagrammatic representation. He made similar observations for other pairs of traits. He found that the F1 always resembled either one of the parent and that the trait of the other parent was not seen in them. Mendel then self-pollinated the F1 plants and to his surprise found that in the F2 generation, that is second filial generation, some of the offsprings were dwarf. The character that was not seen in F1 generation was now expressed. The proportion of plants that were dwarf were 1/4 of the F2 plants, while 3/4 F2 plants were tall. It is 75% tall, 25% dwarf. The tall and dwarf traits were identical to their parents' type and did not show any blending. That is, all the offsprings were either tall or dwarf, none were between height. Similar results were obtained with other traits that he studied. Only one of the parental trait was expressed in the first filial generation, while at the second filial generation, that is F2 generation, both the parental character expressed in the ratio of 3:1. The contrasting trait did not show any blending at either F1 or F2 generations. Based on these observations, Mendel proposed that something was being stably passed down, unchanged from parent to offspring through the gametes over successive generations. He called these things are generally called as factors. Now we call them as genes. Genes, therefore, are the units of inheritance. They contain the information that is required to express a particular trait in an organism. Genes, which code for pair of contrasting traits, are known as alleles. They are slightly different forms of the same gene. If we use alphabetical symbols for each gene, then the capital letter is used for trait expressed at the first filial generation and the small alphabet for the other trait. For example, in case of the character height, capital T is used for tall trait and small t is used for dwarf, and capital T and small t are alleles of each other. Hence, in plants, the pair of alleles for height would be capital T, capital T, capital T, small t, or small t, small t. Mendel also proposed that in a true breeding tall or dwarf pea variety, the allelic pair of genes for height are identical or homozygous, capital T and small t respectively. Capital T and small t are called the genotype of, that is genotype of plant, while the descriptive terms tall and dwarf are the phenotype. What then would be the phenotype of plant that had genotype capital T, small t? As Mendel found the phenotype of F1 heterozygote capital T, small t to be exactly like the capital T parent in appearance, he proposed that in a pair of dissimilar factors, one dominates the other as in F1 generation and hence is called the dominant factor while other factors are recessive. In this case, the capital T, that is for tallness, is dominant over small t, dwarfness, that is recessive. He observed identical behavior for all the other characters, trait pairs that he studied. It is a convenient, that is logical to use the capital and lowercase of an alphabetical symbol to remember this concept of dominance and recessiveness. Do not use capital T for tall and D for dwarf, because you will find it difficult to remember whether capital T and D are alleles of the same character or same gene or not. Alleles can be similar as in the case of homozygous, that is capital T and small t, or can be dissimilar as in the case of heterozygote, capital T, small t. Since the capital T, small t plant is heterozygous for genes controlling one character, that is height, it is monohybrid, and the cross between capital T and small t is monohybrid cross. From the observation that the recessive parental trait is expressed without any blending in the F2 generation, we can infer that when the tall and dwarf plant produce gametes, by the process of meiosis, the alleles of the parental pair separate or segregate from each other and only one allele is transmitted to a gamete. This segregation of alleles is a random process, and so there is 50% chance of gamete containing either allele has been verified by the result of crossings. In this way, the gamete of tall capital T plants have the allele capital T, and the gametes of the dwarf small t plants have the allele small t. During fertilization, the two alleles capital T from one parent, say through the pollen, and small t from the other parent, then through the egg, are united to produce zygote that have one capital T allele and one small t allele. In other words, the hybrids have capital T, small t, since these hybrids contain alleles which expresses contrasting traits. The plants are heterozygous. The production of gametes by parents, the formation of zygotes, the F1 and F2 plants can be understood from a diagram called as Punnett square. Try to remember the tabular column shown in the figure. It was developed by British genetist Reginald C. Punnett. It is a graphical representation to calculate the probability of all possible genotypes of offsprings in a genetic class. The possible gametes are written on two sides, usually the top row and left columns. All possible combinations are represented in boxes below in the squares, which generates a square output form. The Punnett square shows the parental tall, that is capital T male, and dwarf small t female plants. The gametes produced by them and the F1 generation capital T, small t progeny. The F1 plants of genotype capital T, small t are self-pollinated. The symbols, that is female and male symbols, are used to denote the female and male, there is egg and pollen of the F1 generation respectively. The F1 plants of the genotype capital T, small t, when self-pollinated, produces gametes of the genotype capital T and small t in equal proportion. When fertilization takes place, the pollen grains of genotype capital T have 50% chance to pollinate eggs of the genotype, that is capital T, as well as genotype small t, as pollen grains of genotype small t have 50% chance of pollinating eggs of genotype capital T as well as genotype small t. As a result of random fertilization, the resultant zygotes can be the genotypes capital T, small t, or small t. From the Punnett square, it is easily seen that 1/4 of the random fertilization lead to capital T, that is 1/2 lead to capital T, small t, and 1/4 to small t. Though the F1 have a genotype capital T, small t, but the phenotypic characters seen is tall. At F2, that is 3/4 of the plants are tall, where some of them are capital T, while others are capital T, small t. Externally, it is not possible to distinguish between the plants with the genotype capital T and capital T, small t. Hence, within the genotypic pair, capital T, small t, only one character, that is capital T, tall, is expressed. Hence, the character capital T or tall is said to dominate over the other allele, small t or dwarf character. It is thus due to this dominance of one character over the other that all the F1 or tall through the genotype is capital T, small t, and in F2 generation 3 by 4th of the plants are tall. That is, though the genotypically 1 by 2 are capital T, small t, and only 1 by 4th are capital T, capital T. This leads to the phenotypic ratio of 3 by 4th tall, that is 1 by 4 capital T, 1 by 2 capital T, small t, and 1 by 4th small t, small t. The ratio of 3 is to 1, but is the genotypic ratio is 1 is to 2 is to 1. The 1 by 4, 1 by 2, 1 by 4 ratio of capital T, small t, small t is mathematically condensable to form a binomial expression, that is ax plus by square, that has the gametes bearing genes capital T or small t in equal frequency of 1 by 2. The expression is expanded as given below. Refer, that is very clearly given. Then Mendel self-pollinated the F1 plants and found that the dwarf F2 plants continue to generate dwarf plants in F3 and F4 generations. He concluded that the genotype of the dwarfs was homozygous, that is small t, small t. What do you think he would have got at he self-pollinated a tall F2 plant? From the preceding paragraph, it is very clear, try to remember that though the genotypic ratios can be calculated using mathematical probability, by simply looking at the phenotype of dominant trait, it is not possible to know the genotype composition. That is, for example, whether a tall plant from F1 or F2 has capital T or capital T, small t composition cannot be predicted. Therefore, to determine the genotype of tall plant at F2 generation, Mendel crossed the tall plant from F2 generation with dwarf plant. This is called as test cross. So in a typical test cross, an organism, that is P plants here showing the dominant phenotype and whose genotype is to be dominated is crossed with the recessive parent instead of self-crossing. The progenies of such a cross can easily be analyzed to predict the genotype of the test organism. It is very clearly given with the help of diagrammatic representation. Try to remember, shows the result of typical test cross where violet color flower W is dominant over white color flower small w. Using Punnett square, try to find out natural offsprings of a test cross. What ratio did you get? That you try to do yourself. So using the genotypes of this cross, can you give a general definition for a test cross? What is a test cross? What is back cross? Try to remember, test cross is nothing but F1 hybrids were crossed with pure breeding recessive parent is called as test cross. The same F1 hybrids were crossed with any one of the pure breeding parent is called as back cross. Based on his observations on monohybrid cross, Mendel proposed there are two general rules to consolidate his understanding of inheritance in monohybrid crosses. Today these rules are called as principles of laws of inheritance. The first law or law of dominance and the second law is law of segregation. Let us discuss about law of dominance. What do you know about law of dominance? The characters are controlled by discrete units called as factors. Factors occur in pairs. In a dissimilar pair of factors, one member of the pair dominate, that is a dominant, and the other is recessive. The law of dominance is used to explain the expression of only one of the parental character in a monohybrid cross in the F1 generation and the expression of both F2 generation. It is also explains the proportion of 3:1 obtained at the F2 generation. So according to law of dominance, so only one of the parental character expressed in the first filial generation The dominant character is expressed in heterozygous condition also, but recessive character expressed only in homozygous condition. Then let us discuss about law of segregation. This law is based on the fact that the alleles do not show any blending and that both the characters are recovered as such in the F2 generation through one of these is not seen in the F1 stage. Though the parent contains two alleles during gamete formation, the factors or alleles of a pair segregate from each other such that a gamete receives only one of the two factor. Of course, a homozygous parent produces all gametes that are similar while the heterozygous or heterozygous one produces two kinds of gametes, each having one allele with equal proportion. So you try to remember, based on monohybrid class, he proposed there are two laws. The first one is law of dominance, second one is law of segregation. So in order, let us discuss about the next topic, non-Mendelian inheritance. So as per the Mendelian concept, only the parental characters are inherited from one generation to another generation. Due to the development of technology, scientists were identified in some organisms. Both the parental character held together form certain new characters. So that and all are generally called as deviations of Mendelian inheritance. That is Mendelian rules that all together placed under the topic non-Mendelian inheritance. Here there are 5 examples are given for non-Mendelian inheritance. First one is incomplete dominance, second one is codominance, third one is multiple allelism, fourth one is polygenic inheritance, the fifth one is pleiotropy. Let us discuss about one by one. First, we will discuss about incomplete dominance. So, as per the Mendelian concept, the parental combination only, any one of the dominant character expressed in the first filial generation. When the experiments on peas were repeated using other plants, that is other traits in other plants, it was found that sometimes the F1 had phenotype that did not resemble either of two parents and was in between the two. So as per the Mendelian concept, out of two parent, one of the parental character expressed in the first filial generation. So that is a dominant character here. But in some plants, as both the parental character held together form intermediate character. The inheritance of flower color in dog flower, it is generally called as snapdragon or antirhinum species, is a good example to understand incomplete dominance. In a cross between true breeding red flower, that is represented as capital R, and true breeding white flower denotes small r. The F1 capital R, small r was the pink. Refer the diagrammatic representation. When the F1 was self-pollinated, even in the F2 generation, the following ratio, that is capital R is 1, that is red color, capital R, small r, that is 2 in number, pink color, small r, that is white in color, 1 in number. Here the genotypic ratio were exactly as we would expect in any Mendelian monohybrid class, but the phenotypic ratio had changed from the 3:1, that is dominant recessive ratio. What happened was the capital R was not completely dominant over small r, and this made it is possible to distinguish capital R, small r as pink from capital R, red, and small r white. So what is the reason? So some alleles dominant and some alleles may be recessive. To tackle these questions, we must understand what a gene does. Every gene, as you know by now, that contains the information to express a particular trait. In a diploid organism, there are 2 copies of each gene that is a pair of alleles. Now, these 2 alleles need not always be identical as in heterozygote. One of them may be different due to some changes that it has undergone, that is about which you will read further on and in the next chapter that we are going to discuss. which modifies the information that a particular allele contains. Let us take an example of gene that contains the information for producing an enzyme. Now there are two copies of gene, the two alleles from, let us assume, as in one normal allele produces the normal enzyme that is needed for the transformation of a substrate. Yes, theoretically the modified allele could be responsible for the production of the normal or less efficient enzyme or a non-functional enzyme or no enzyme at all. So in this first case, the modified allele is equivalent to the unmodified allele. It will produce the same phenotypic trait, result in the transformation of substrate. Yes, such equivalent allele pairs are very common, but if the allele produces a non-functional enzyme or no enzyme, the phenotype may be affected. The phenotype trait will only be the dominant on the functioning of the unmodified allele. The unmodified, that is functioning allele, which represent the original phenotype, is the dominant allele, and the modified allele is generally the recessive allele. Hence, in the example above, the recessive trait is seen due to non-functional enzyme or because of no enzyme is produced. Let us go for another important topic, that is codominance. So till now we were discussing crosses where the F1 resemble either of the two parents, that is a dominance, or was in between, that is incomplete dominance. But in the case of codominance, the F1 generation resembles both the parents. A good example is different types of blood cells that determine ABO blood grouping in human beings. ABO blood groups are controlled by the gene I. The plasma membrane of red blood cells has sugar polymers that protrude from its surface, and the kind of sugars controlled by the gene. The gene I, as there are three alleles, I power A, I power B, and I. The alleles I power A and I power B produce slightly different form of sugar, while allele I does not produce any sugar, because humans are diploid organisms. Each person possesses any two of the three I gene alleles. I power A and I power B are completely dominant over I. In other words, when I power A and I are present, only I expresses, because of I does not produce any sugar. And when I power B and I are present, I power B only expresses, as same like I power A. But when I power A and I power B are present together, they both expresses their own types of sugars. So this is because of codominance. Both I power A and I power B, A and B both are dominating over, so it is called as codominance. Hence, red blood cells have both A and B types of sugar. Since there are three different alleles, there are 6 different combinations of these three alleles that are possible, and therefore a total 6 different genotypes of human ABO blood types, that is very clearly given with the help of tabular column. You try to remember when does the I power A is expressed, when does the I power B is expressed, when does the I power A and B together expressed. Okay, that everything very clearly given with the help of tabular column. Then let us go for multiple alleles. Do you realize that the example of ABO blood grouping also provides a good example of multiple alleles? Here you can see that there are more than 2 or 3 alleles governing the same character, since in an individual only 2 alleles can be present. Multiple alleles can be found only when a population studies are made. Okay, you try to remember. Occasionally, a single gene product may produce more than one effect. For example, starch size in pea seeds is controlled by one gene. It has 2 alleles, that is capital B and small b. Starch is synthesized effectively by capital B homozygotes, and therefore a large starch grains are produced. In contrast, small b homozygotes have lesser efficiency in starch synthesis and produce smaller starch grains. After maturation of the seeds, capital B seeds are round and small b seeds are wrinkled. Heterozygous produce round seeds, and so capital B seems to be the dominant allele, but the starch grains produced are the intermediate size in capital B small b seeds. So if starch grain size is considerable as the phenotype, then from this angle the alleles show incomplete dominance. So therefore dominance is not an autonomous future of gene or the product that it has information for. It depends as much on the gene product and the production of a particular phenotype from this product as it does not on the particular phenotype that we choose to examine in case more than one phenotype is influenced by the same gene. So you try to remember which are the things we have discussed from this topic. We have then we will continue the another important topic, inheritance of two genes, or it is always called as dihybrid cross. Mendel also worked with the cross pea plants that are different in two characters, as seen in the cross between a pea plant that has seeds with yellow color and round shape, and one of that had seeds of green color and wrinkled shape. So that is given with the help of a diagrammatic representation. See the flow chart. Mendel found that the seeds resulting from the crossing of parents had yellow colored and round shaped seeds. Here, can you tell which of the character in the past yellow, green color and round wrinkled shape was dominant? Thus, yellow color was dominant over green and round shape dominant over wrinkled. These results were identical to those that he got when he made separate monohybrid crosses between yellow and green seeded plants and between round and wrinkled seeded plants. Let us use the genotypic symbols capital Y for dominant yellow seed color and small y for recessive green seed color, capital R for round shaped seeds and small r for wrinkled seed. The genotype of parents can then be written as capital R, capital Y, and small r, small y, small y. The cross between the two plants can be written down as in figure, that is refer the diagrammatic representation shown the genotype of the parent plants. The gametes capital R, capital Y and small r, small y unite on fertilization to produce the F1 hybrid. It is a combination of capital R, capital Y, small y. When Mendel self-fertilized the F1 plants, he found that 3 by 4th of F2 plants had yellow seeds and 1 by 4th had green color. The yellow and green color segregated in 3:1 ratio. Round and wrinkled sheet shape also segregated in the ratio of 3:1, just like in a monohybrid cross. So refer the diagrammatic representation. So based on the diagrammatic representation, you can able to understand very clearly. So which are the things they are given about a dihybrid cross? How does the cross made in between round yellow and wrinkled green seeds? Based on that is a dihybrid cross, he proposed law of independent assortment. In the dihybrid cross, that is given in the form of diagrammatic representation, the phenotypes round yellow, wrinkled yellow, round green and wrinkled green appeared in the ratio of 9:3:3:1. Such a ratio was observed for several pairs of characters that Mendel studied. The ratio of 9:3:3:1 can be derived as a combination of series of 3 yellow, 1 green with 3 round, 1 wrinkled. This derivation can be written as follows: 3 round, 1 wrinkled, 3 yellow, 1 green is equal to 9 round yellow, 3 wrinkled yellow, 3 round green, 1 wrinkled green. So you try to remember that ratio is very clearly given. Based upon such observation on dihybrid crosses, it is crosses between plants differing in two traits. Mendel proposed a second set of generalizations that we call Mendel's law of independent assortment. The law states that when two pairs of traits are combined in a dihybrid, that is hybrid, segregation of one pair of character is independent of other pair of character. The Punnett square can be effectively used to understand the independent segregation of two pairs of genes during meiosis and the production of egg and pollen in F1. Capital R, capital Y, small y plant. Consider the segregation of one pair of gene capital R and small r. 50% of the, that is 50% of the gametes have the gene capital R and the other 50% have small r. Now besides each gamete having either capital R or small r, it should also have the allele capital Y or small y. The important thing to remember here is the segregation of 50% capital R and 50% small r is independent from the segregation of 50% capital Y and 50% small y. Therefore, 50% of the small r bearing gametes as capital Y and other 50% as small y. Similarly, the 50% of capital R bearing the gametes of capital Y and other 50% is small y. Thus, there are 4 genotypes of gametes. There are 4 types of pollens and 4 types of eggs. So the 4 types are capital R, capital Y, capital R, small r, capital Y, and small r, small y, each with a frequency of 25% of, that is 1 by 4th of total gametes produced. When you write down the 4 types of eggs and pollens on the 2 sides of the Punnett square, it is very easy to understand to derive the composition of zygotes that gives rise to the F2 plants. So refer the Punnett square, that is very clearly given. Although there are 16 squares, how many different types of gametes and phenotypes are formed, that clearly given with the help of tabular column, with the help of Punnett square. Note them down in the format given. So totally there are, so how many plants were produced, F2 generation, that you try to remember the ratio of 9:3:3:1. So what are the different characters so that were formed, that also given very clearly with the help of tabular column. What is the color of 9? Round yellow, 3 round green, 3 wrinkled yellow, 1 is wrinkled green. So totally there are 16 plant species were produced at the end of the F2 generation in the ratio of 9:3:3:1. So try to remember. Chromosomal theory of inheritance. The work of Mendel on inheritance of characters was published in the year of 1865. Although till 19th century it remained unrecognized. Primarily, his work could not be widely publicized, as well as communication was not easy as it is now in those days. As an explanation for the apparently continuous variation seen in nature, his contemporaries did not accept Mendel's concept of genes or factors in Mendel's words as stable and discrete units that controlled the expression of traits and of the pair of alleles which did not blend with each other. Secondly, thirdly, to many of the biologists of his time, Mendel's approach of using mathematics to explain biological phenomena was totally new and unacceptable. Lastly, even though Mendel's work suggested that factors, that is called as genes, were discrete units, he could not provide any physical proof for the existence of factors or say what they were made of. Mendel's results on the inheritance of characters were discovered by 3 scientists. It is rediscovered Mendel's work by 3 scientists, De Vries, Correns, and von Schirmark, independently in 19th century. Even though Mendel died in the year of 1884, the work of Mendel was republished in Flora by De Vries, while Hugo De Vries belonged to Holland, Correns came from Germany, and Schirmark from Austria. Scientists were able to carefully observe cell divisions, as by this time advancement in microscopy were taking place as well. The result was such that structures in the nucleus that appeared to double and divide just before each cell division were discovered. As they were visualized by staining, they were called chromosomes or colored bodies. Can you see how chromosomes segregate when germ cells are formed? The chromosome movement during meiosis had been worked out by 1902. The behavior of chromosome was parallel to each behavior of genes and used chromosome movement to explain Mendel's laws. This was noted by Walter Sutton and Theodore Boveri. One must remember that chromosomes as well as genes occur in pairs. During anaphase of meiosis 1, the two chromosome pairs can align at the metaphase plate independently of each other. That is given in the form of diagrammatic representation. To understand this, compare the chromosomes of four different colors in the left and right column. That is given in the left column, that is possibility 1, orange and green is segregating together, but in the right hand column, possibility 2, the orange chromosome is segregating with the red chromosome. Refer the diagrammatic representation. Sutton and Boveri argued that the pairing and separation of pair of chromosomes would lead to the segregation of a pair of factors they carried. Sutton united the knowledge of chromosomal segregation with Mendelian principles and called it chromosomal theory of inheritance. Following this synthesis of ideas, experimental verification of the chromosomal theory of inheritance by Thomas Hunt Morgan and his colleagues lead to the discovering the basis for the verification that sexual reproduction produced. Morgan worked with the tiny fruit flies Drosophila melanogaster, that is given in the form of diagrammatic representation, which were found very suitable for such studies. They could be grown on a simple synthetic medium in the laboratory. They complete their life cycle in about 2 weeks, and a single mating could produce a large number of progeny flies. Also, there was clear differentiation of the sexes. The male and the female flies are easily distinguishable. Also, it has many types of hereditary variations that can be seen with low power microscope. So you try to remember who proposed chromosomal theory of inheritance. Walter Sutton and Theodore Boveri in the year of 1902. It states that the pairing and separation of a pair of chromosomes lead to the segregation of a pair of factors they carried. Sutton united the chromosomal segregation with Mendelian principles and called the chromosomal theory of inheritance. That point also you try to remember. What are the important statements of chromosomal theory? Chromosomes are vehicles of heredity. They are transmitted from parents to offsprings. For example, they are immortal. Two identical chromosomes with similar genes form a homologous pair. Homologous pair segregate during gamete formation. Independent pairs segregate independently of each other. Chromosomes are mutable. Genes are present on the chromosomes, hence they show similar behavior. Try to remember. So these are some important statements of chromosomal theory. So how does chromosomes undergoes segregation? Everything is given with the help of diagrammatic representation. You know, chromosomes are vehicles of heredity. Two identical chromosomes form a homologous pair. Homologous pairs segregate during gamete formation. Independent pairs segregate independently. That points and all you try to remember. Genes are present on chromosomes, hence they show similar behaviors. Then let us go for another important topic, linkage and recombination. To study genes that were sex linked, Morgan carried out several dihybrid crosses in Drosophila. These crosses were found to be quite similar to the dihybrid cross that were carried out by Mendel in pea plant. One can take an example where Morgan hybridized yellow-bodied, white-eyed females to brown-bodied, red-eyed males and intercrossed their F1 progeny. Morgan found out that the two genes did not segregate independently of each other, and the F2 ratio deviated very significantly from the 9:3:3:1 ratio that is expected when the two genes are independent. Refer the diagrammatic representation. The genes were located on X chromosome and saw quickly that when the two genes in dihybrid class were situated on the same chromosome, the proportion of parental gene combinations were much higher than non-parental type. This was known to Morgan and his group. Due to the physical association or linkage of two genes, Morgan attributed this and used the term linkage to describe this physical association of genes on a chromosome and the term recombination to describe the generation of non-parental gene combinations. Recombination frequency measured by total number of recombinants by total number of progeny. In Mendel's law of independent assortment, linkage is an exception, and for as Mendel was concerned, he did not observe linkage due to independent assortment. Mendel was successful in his experiments as the traits that he chose genes for apart and therefore linkage was absent. In case of gene located on the same chromosome, independent assortment is found to be absent. Even when genes were grouped on the same chromosome, some genes were very tightly linked. Refer the diagrammatic representation showed very low recombination. The diagrammatic representation cross A, while other were loosely linked, showed higher recombination, that is given in the cross B. This was inferred by Morgan and his group. They found out that the genes white and yellow were very tightly linked and showed only 1.3% recombination, while white and miniature wing, that is 37.2% recombination. To the distance between genes, the strength of linkage is found to be inversely related. The offsprings will be only parental type if there is a complete linkage. Refer the linkage diagram is very clearly given. Cross A with tightly linked genes, cross B with loosely linked genes. For findings that genes to be linearly arranged on chromosomes, Morgan got Nobel Prize for that. Try to remember the strength of linkage 1 by distance between genes. The frequency of recombination between gene pairs on the same chromosome as a measure of the distance between genes and their position on the chromosome was mapped by one of Morgan's student, Alfred Sturvant. The sites of the gene on a chromosome are established by the genetic map. The distance is 10 map unit if percentage of recombination is 10. In the sequencing of whole genomes, genetic maps are extensively used as a starting point today, as was seen in the case of the Human Genome Sequencing Project. Try to remember what are the things we have discussed about linkage and recombination. Let us go for another important topic, polygenic or quantitative inheritance. Those traits that have distinct alternative forms such as flower color, which are either purple or white, are mainly described in Mendel studies. However, there are many traits which are not so distinct in their occurrence and are spread across a gradient in humans. For example, one just does not be distinguished as tall or a short person, but there is a complete range of possible heights. Generally, these kinds of traits are controlled by 3 or more genes and are hence called as polygenic traits. The influence of environment is also taken into an account apart from the involvement of multiple genes of polygenic inheritance. The classical examples of these are human skin color and human height. In human, height serves as continuous variation. The phenotype reflects the contribution of each allele, the effect of each allele additive in a polygenic trait. Say the flowchart. The flowchart it is given very clearly. One can assume that 3 genes capital A, capital B, capital C control skin color in human with the dominant forms of capital A, capital B and capital C responsible for dark skin color, and recessive forms are small a, small b and small c for light skin color. As example for understanding the situation better, the genotype with all the recessive alleles small a, small b, small b, small c will have lightest skin color, while one with all the dominant alleles capital A, capital A, capital B, capital C will have the darker skin color, that is negro. The genotype with 3 dominant alleles and 3 recessive alleles will have an intermediate skin color that is called as mulatto as expected. The number of each type of alleles in the genotype would determine the darkness or lightness of skin in an individual in similar fashion. The phenotypic ratio is 1 is to 6 is to 15 is to 20 is to 15 is to 6 is to 1. There are 7 phenotypes in a polygenic trihybrid cross. Capital A small a, capital B small b, capital C small c crossed with capital A small a, capital B small b, capital C small c. The F1 ratio obtained in a dihybrid cross is 1 is to 4 is to 6 is to 4 is to 1. There are 5 phenotypes in quantitative inheritance. That is given very clearly with the help of diagrammatic representation in the form of flow chart. If you are understanding the flow chart, this is very easy to understand about polygenic inheritance. Then let us go for pleiotropy. What do you know about pleiotropy? The effect of a gene on a metabolic pathway which contribute towards different phenotypes is the underlying mechanism of pleiotropy in most cases. An example of this is the disease phenylketonuria, which codes for enzyme phenylalanine hydroxylase, that is a single gene mutation, though phenotypic expression characterized by mental retardation and skin pigmentation is manifested by itself. A single gene product may produce more than one effect occasionally. One such example is that the starch synthesis in pea seeds is controlled by one gene. It has 2 alleles, capital B and small b. Large starch grains are produced as starch is synthesized effectively by capital B homozygotes. Capital B homozygotes have lesser efficiency in starch synthesis and produce smaller starch grains. In contrast, capital B seeds are round and the small b seeds are wrinkled after maturation of seeds. Capital B seems to be the dominant allele as heterozygotes produce round seeds. In capital B small b seeds, the starch grains produced are in intermediate size. The alleles show incomplete dominance if starch grain size is considered as phenotype. One can say that dominance is not an autonomous feature of gene or product that it has information for, as it does on the particular phenotype that one chooses to examine. In case more than one phenotype is influenced by the same gene, it depends as much as gene product and the production of a particular phenotype from this product. The geneticists have always found the mechanism of sex determination a puzzle in front of them. To some of the experiments carried out insects, the initial clue about the genetic chromosomal mechanism of sex determination can be traced back. The cytological observations made in number of insects lead to the development of concept of genetic or chromosomal basis of sex determination. In fact, a specific nuclear structure, although spermatogenesis in a few insects was traced by Henking in the year of 1891, and it was also observed by him that 50% of the sperm received the structure after spermatogenesis, whereas other 50% sperm did not receive it. Although he named this structure as X body, he failed to explain its significance. The conclusion that X body of Henking was in fact a chromosome, and that's why it was given the name X chromosome. It was possible because of further investigations by other scientists. Here very clearly given some standard symbols are used to determine sex in various organisms. First one is that is XO type found in grasshopper, XY type used to determine sex in Drosophila, mammals and man, ZW type used in birds, haplodiplotype sex determinations used in honeybees. First we are going to discuss about that is EXO type XX, XO type. In a large number of insects, the mechanism of sex determination is of XO type. All eggs bear an additional X chromosome besides the other chromosomes that are generally called as autosomes was observed by the scientist. Some of the sperms bear the X chromosome, whereas on the other hand, some do not. The eggs fertilized by sperms that do not have X chromosome become males, while the eggs fertilized by sperm having an X chromosome become females. In the males and female, the number of chromosomes are not equal. It was designated to be the sex chromosome, and the rest of the chromosomes were named as autosomes due to the involvement of X chromosome in the determination of sex. Examples of XO type of sex determination in which the males have only one chromosome besides the autosomes are seen in grasshopper and cockroach, while females have a pair of X chromosomes. See the flow chart, it is given very clearly. Female and male symbols are given very clearly. Then let us go for XY type, that is XX, XY type. To understand the mechanism of sex determination, these observations lead to the investigation of number of species. XY type of sex determination is seen in where both male and female have same number of chromosome in the number of other insects, Drosophila, and mammals including man, and a plant, Melandrium. Melandrium was the first plant in which the chromosomal basis of sex determination was discovered. In males, the X chromosome is present, but its counterpart is distinctly smaller and it is known as Y chromosome. Refer the flow chart. It is given very clearly with the help of diagrammatic representation. Male XY, female represented as XX. A pair of X chromosome is seen in females. Same number of autosomes is seen in both males and females, while the female have autosome plus XX. The male have autosome plus XY. The males have one X and one Y chromosome, whereas females have a pair of X chromosome besides autosomes in human beings and in Drosophila. Males produce two different types of gametes, either with or without X chromosome, or some gametes with X chromosome and some with Y chromosome. In both the cases, XO and XY type. This kind of sex determination mechanism is an example of male heterogamety. So you try to remember the diagrammatic representation. Then let us go for ZW type, that is ZW type. A different mechanism of sex determination is observed on some other organisms like birds. The total number of chromosomes is same in both males and females in such cases, but female heterogamety, which means the production of two different types of gametes in terms of sex chromosomes by females, takes place. The two different sex chromosomes of a female bird has been designated to be the Z and W chromosomes in order to have the distinction with the mechanism of sex determination described earlier. While males have a pair of Z chromosomes besides autosomes, the females have one Z and one W chromosome in these organisms. See the flow chart. ZW represent female, ZZ represent male. Let us go for another important topic, sex determination in humans. It has already been mentioned that the sex determining mechanism in case of human is XY type. Out of 23 pairs of chromosomes present, there are 22 pairs are exactly same in both males and females. These are generally called as autosomes. A pair of X chromosome are present in female, whereas in male, XY chromosomes are determinant of the male characteristic. During spermatogenesis among males, two types of gametes are produced. 50% of total sperm produced that carry X chromosome, and the rest 50% carry Y chromosome besides the autosomes. Females, however, produce only one type of ovum with the X chromosome. There is an equal probability of fertilization of the ovum with the sperm carrying either X or Y chromosome. In case of the ovum fertilizes with a sperm carrying X chromosome, the zygote develops into female, that is with XX chromosomes, and the fertilization of ovum with Y chromosome carrying sperm result into male offspring. Thus, it is evident that it is the genetic makeup of the sperm that determine the sex of the child. It is also evident that in each progeny there is always 50% of probability of either a male or female child. It is unfortunate that in our society women are blamed for giving birth to female children and have been ostracized and ill treated because of this false notion. Then let us go for another important one, sex determination in honeybee. On the number of sets of chromosomes an individual receives, on which the sex determination in a honeybee is based. By means of parthenogenesis, an unfertilized egg develops as male, that is generally called as a drone, whereas an offspring formed from the union of sperm and an egg develops as female, that may be queen or worker bee. So it can be inferred that the male have off number of chromosomes than that of the female. Having 32 chromosomes, the females are diploid, while having 16 chromosomes, the males are haploid. This phenomena is referred to as haplodiploid sex determination system. The males produce sperm by mitosis. They do not have father and thus cannot have sons, but have a grandfather and can have grandsons. This is the characteristic feature of this sex determination system. Then let us go for the another important topic, mutation. A phenomenon which result in alteration of DNA sequences and consequently result in changes in the genotype and the phenotype of an organism is called as mutation. Mutation is another phenomenon that leads to the variation in DNA in addition to recombination. The ultimate major source of variation is mutation. In a highly supercoiled form, the DNA helix runs continuously from one end to the other in each chromatid. If a segment DNA is lost, it is called as deletion mutation, or gained, it is called as insertion or duplication, results in alternation in chromosomes. Alternation in chromosomes results in abnormalities or aberrations as genes are known to be located on chromosomes. In cancer cells, chromosomal aberrations are commonly observed. Muton is the smallest segment of genetic material affected by mutation, or it can also be said that the smallest gene affected by mutation is muton. Recon is the smallest part of the DNA that can undergo recombination. A mutant is an organism carrying mutated gene. In addition to the above, mutation also arises due to change in a single base pair of DNA. This is known as point mutation. A classical example of such a mutation is sickle cell anemia. Deletion and insertions of base pairs of DNA causes frame shift mutations. That is, refer the diagrammatic representation. The mechanism of mutation is beyond the scope of this discussion at this level. However, there are many chemical and physical factors that induce mutations. There are referred to as mutagenic agents. For examples, UV radiations cause mutation in organisms. It is one of the example for mutagenic agent. It is broadly divided into two types, physical and chemical mutagenic agents. Then let us discuss about genetic disorders. From genetic disorders, first we are going to discuss about pedigree analysis. Then we are going to discuss about Mendelian disorders and chromosomal disorders one by one. Let us discuss about pedigree analysis. Since long, the idea that disorders are inherited is prevalent in the human society. Certain characteristic features in families is based on heritability. The practice of analyzing inheritance pattern of traits in human beings began after the rediscovery of Mendel's work. The study of family history about inheritance of a particular trait provides an alternative, as it is quite evident that control crosses that can be performed in pea plant or some other organisms are not possible in case of human beings. The pedigree analysis is the analysis of traits in several of generations of a family. The inheritance of a particular trait is represented in the family tree over generations in pedigree analysis. So you try to remember what are the standard symbols that are used in the pedigree analysis chart for male, female, sex, unspecified, affected individuals, mating, mating between relatives, and parents above the children below, parents with male child affected with disease, 5 unaffected offsprings. For that everything they are given some standard symbols that very clearly given with the help of diagrammatic representation. Try to understand the symbols. Pedigree study provides a strong tool which is utilized to trace the inheritance of a specific trait, abnormality, or disease in human genetics. One or the other gene located on the DNA present in the chromosome controls each and every feature in any organism. The carrier of genetic information is the DNA. Without any change or alternation, it is hence transmitted from one generation to the other, that is another generation. But occasionally, the changes or alternations do takes place. Mutation is this alternation or change in the genetic material. With the inheritance of changed or altered genes or chromosomes, a number of disorders in human beings have been found to be associated. Genetic disorders, categories: Mendelian disorders and chromosomal disorders. Let us discuss about Mendelian disorders. Broadly, genetic disorders may be grouped into two categories: Mendelian disorders and chromosomal disorders. Mendelian disorders are mainly determined by the alternation or mutation in the single gene. These disorders are transmitted to the offspring of the same lines as well as studied in the principle of inheritance. The pattern of inheritance of such Mendelian disorders can be traced in a family by the pedigree analysis. Most common and prevalent Mendelian disorders are hemophilia, cystic fibrosis, sickle cell anemia, color blindness, phenylketonuria, thalassemia, etc. It is important to mention here that such Mendelian disorders may be dominant or recessive. By pedigree analysis, one can easily understand whether the trait in a question is dominant or recessive. Similarly, the trait may also be linked to the sex chromosome, as in case of hemophilia. It is evident that this X-linked recessive trait shows transmission from carrier female to male progeny. A representative pedigree is shown in the figure. Refer the diagrammatic representation for dominant and recessive traits. Let us discuss about some Mendelian disorders. First one is color blindness. It is a sex-linked recessive disorder due to defect in either red or green cone of eye, resulting in failure of discriminate between red and green color. This defect is due to mutation in certain genes present in the X chromosome. It occurs in about 8% of males and only about 0.4% in females. This is because of the genes that lead to red-green color blindness are on the X chromosome. Males have only one X chromosome and females have two X chromosomes. The son of woman who carries the gene has 50% chance of being colorblind. The mother is not herself colorblind because the gene is recessive. That means that its effect is suppressed by her matching dominant normal gene. A daughter will not normally be colorblind unless her mother is a carrier and her father is colorblind. Let us go for the next disease, hemophilia. This sex-linked recessive disease, which shows its transmission from unaffected carrier female to some of the male progeny, has been widely studied. In this disease, a single protein, that is the part of the cascade of proteins involved in the clotting of blood, is affected. Due to this, in an affected individual, a simple cut will result in non-stop bleeding. The heterozygous female act as carrier for hemophilia, may transmit the disease to the sons. The possibility of female becoming a hemophilic is extremely rare because mother of such a female has to be least carrier and the father should be hemophilic, unviable in the later stage of life. The family pedigree of Queen Victoria shows a number of hemophilic descendants as she was carrier of the disease. Then the next disease is sickle cell anemia. This is an autosome linked recessive trait that can be transmitted from parents to offspring when both the parents are carrier for the gene, that is heterozygous condition. The disease is controlled by a single pair of allele, that is HB power A and HB power S. Out of the three possible genotypes, only homozygous individuals for HBS, that is HBS shows the diseased phenotype. Heterozygous HB power A, HB power S individuals appear apparently unaffected, but they act as carrier of the disease, or the other 50% probability of transmission of the mutant gene to the progeny, thus exhibiting sickle cell trait. The defect is controlled by the substitution of glutamic acid by valine at the sixth position of the beta globin chain of the hemoglobin molecule. The substitution of amino acid in the globin, that is protein, results due to single base substitution at the sixth codon of the beta globin gene from GAG to GUG. The mutant hemoglobin molecule undergoes polymerization under low oxygen tension, causing the change in the shape of the RBC from biconcave disc to elongated sickle cell stage, that is a sickle-like structure. Refer the diagrammatic representation. It is followed by the another important Mendelian disorder is phenylketonuria. This is inborn error of metabolism, is also inherited as a autosomal recessive trait. The affected individuals lacks an enzyme that converts the amino acid phenylalanine into tyrosine. As a result of the phenylalanine is accumulated and converted into phenylpyruvic acid and other derivatives. Accumulation of these in brain results in mental retardation. These are also excreted through urine because of its poor absorption by kidney. It is followed by another disease is thalassemia. This is also an autosome linked recessive blood disease transmitted from parents to offspring when both the parents are unaffected carrier for the gene for heterozygous. The defect could be due to either mutation or deletion, which ultimately results in the reduced rate of synthesis of one of the globin chain, it is alpha and beta chains that make up hemoglobin. This causes the formation of abnormal hemoglobin molecules resulting into anemia, which is characteristics of the disease. Thalassemia can be classified according to which chain of the hemoglobin molecule is affected. In alpha thalassemia, production of alpha-globin chain is affected, while in beta thalassemia, production of beta globin chain is affected. Alpha thalassemia is controlled by two closely linked genes, HbA1 and HbA2 on chromosome 16th of each parent, and it is absorbed due to mutation or deletion one or more of the four genes. The more genes are affected, the less alpha globin molecule produced, while beta thalassemia is controlled by a single gene HBB on chromosome 11 of each parent and occurs due to mutation of one or both genes. Thalassemia differs from sickle cell anemia in that the former is quantitative problem of synthesizing too few globin molecules, while the later it is a qualitative problem of synthesizing an incorrectly functioning globin. It is followed by chromosomal disorders. Due to the absence or excess or abnormal arrangement of one or more chromosomes, chromosomal disorder takes place. The chromosomal disorders occur and are broadly divided into two types: aneuploidy and polyploidy. Polyploidy is otherwise called as euploidy. Let us discuss about aneuploidy. Aneuploidy is the failure of segregation of chromatids during cell division cycle, result in the gain or loss of chromosome, and it takes place due to non-disjunction of homologous chromosome. Polyploidy is the occurrence due to failure of cytokinesis after telophase stage of cell division, resulting in an increase in a whole set of chromosomes in an organism. Polyploidy is often seen in plants, respectively. Turner syndrome is a sex monosomic in origin. Darwin syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome, and Porter syndrome are trisomic. Very serious consequences in the individual may arise due to this situation. Common examples of chromosomal disorders include Down syndrome, Turner syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome. Let us discuss one by one. Down syndrome, it is an example for autosomal chromosomal disorder. The presence of an additional copy of chromosomal number, that is 21, trisomy of 21, due to non-distinction of chromosomes during sperm or ova formation is the cause of the genetic disorder. Hyperchromasium is the presence of some chromosome more than once. Langdon Down in the year of 1866 is credited to describe this disorder for the first time when maternal age is above 35 years. The frequency of Down syndrome increase. The symptoms of this disorder include shortness, that is short statured with a small round head, furrowed tongue, and partially open mouth. Palm is broad with characteristic palm crease. Also, the physical, psychomotor, and mental development is retarded. Both males as well as females are affected, and epicanthus is also seen. Down syndrome followed by Klinefelter syndrome. Klinefelter syndrome is an example for sex chromosomal disorder due to the presence of an additional copy of X chromosome, resulting into karyotype of 47, that is a XXY chromosome. This genetic is found to occur in individuals suffering from the syndrome. The feminine development, that is feminine development means development of breast, is generally called as gynecomastia, is also expressed, while yes, overall masculine development. These are kinds of sterile males. It is followed by Turner syndrome caused due to the absence of one of the EX chromosome. So the person will have only 45 chromosome with XO type. The female suffering from this disorder are sterile, as ovaries are rudimentary. Besides, other features including the absence of other secondary sexual characters are the some notable symptoms that are all given very clearly with the help of diagrammatic representation. Try to remember. So those who are watching our YouTube channel, you are requested to like, subscribe and share to your friends. So if you are finding any mistakes, you try to comment. Thank you very much. All the best.